私の実力見せてあげるね。ファイヤ
ー。敵巡洋艦を撃沈。
The Kongo is a British heavy cruiser, conveniently placed in the most stagnated and uninspiring tier in this game. A mythical place that infallible people thought never existed, as the game kept driving people towards tier 8 and beyond. So why the Kongo of all ships? Well, because it is the Kongo, and it's a Japanese ship. And Japanese ships often needs help despite having powerful statistics. This is the most modern and most capable battleship of its tier, having the biggest gun, the longest range, the fastest speed, the most HP, and still have usable armor, yet it performed consistently worse than others. This is because it got advertised extra by that other game, which brings in degenerate virgins that can't do anything else but wanting to f ships. It also suffers from deliberate negligence in the name of increased revenue. 4 and soon to be 5 clone of the same thing, yet for 5 goddamn years they can't be bothered to model it properly. To understand the Kongo, you must first acknowledge that it is not a battleship, it is a battle cruiser, capable of 30 knots, way too much speed for its tier, and way too long to have good turning circle. So avoid islands, and stay in open water. You want to have as many target to shoot at, due to how 14-inch shells behaves against tier 5 ships. In this tier, you are fighting floating citadels but not really, meat bags, armored meat bags, weaponized tugboats, and Francesco Shettinus. Each of them requires different approach when dealing with Kongo's oversized guns, which are also very inaccurate, having the highest vertical dispersion compared to other tier 5 BBs. So always expect your shot to bracket people. Might as well assume each shells have their own postal code. Starting with cruisers, these things will generally be overpenned if it's broadsiding under 8 kilometers. If you have to shoot one, make sure it's not showing broadside, and obviously don't shoot an angled belt if it's above 9 kilometers and have zero awareness. You can take your chance, otherwise find some other ships to shoot at. Moving on to meat bags, if it's American, then shoot at whatever angle. They are covered with 19mm excess fat and are very slow. If it ain't American, then it's probably well protected and very hard to damage unless they show broadside. If there's no BB you can ignore them. As for those little buggers, you shoot them. If they are at sub 12 kilometers, they don't have much HP and are often close enough due to short torpedo range. If they are further than 12 kilometers, then you can forget them.
No problem there.
Follow this logic flow and you will have more effective shots over the course of the game. Doing less bounces and overpens, more consistency and less RNG is how you perform well in Kongo, and you want to keep doing it to make up the lackluster accuracy.
No problem there.
Like always, it is imperative to stay alive and avoid damage, just because it has more HP than a shitty German premium 3 tiers higher, and having indestructible in the name is not an excuse to mindlessly dive bomb the enemy. Fortunately, this is tier 5, where everything are designed to be fair and equal to everyone as it possibly could. Bad accuracy, ships with too much armor, low number of guns, etc. In other words, you are less likely to die in a short amount of time, as most of the damage heading to you are being pardoned by the game, giving you less doubts on your tactical decision, compared to any higher tier, where you can die faster because the other team has better gimmicks. This gives you a positively high chance to secure a flank, while also still able to retreat, as there is nothing that can kill you quickly. And unlike the Americans, you have the speed to push your retreat, and an armored midsection that can bounce AP and shatter HE. You want to abuse this as much as possible by angling it towards your enemy, to make sure they won't hit the weak bow and stern armor, which are the easiest place to citadel the Kongo. There are no armor to protect the badly designed turtleback, and also the citadel hump under the rear turret, which is where you should aim when you see one that shows broadside. The only thing it cannot actively avoid is fire. Probably an ironic curse of her annoying catchphrase. Then again, this shouldn't stop you blasting people with HE. Friendly reminder, that you are not a battleship, you are an extremely mobile but rather bloated samurai. A very unusual ship despite its age. Any normal ship would gain some and lose some, trading guns with poor armor, and vice versa. Some ships shouldn't be mentioned, but the Kongo has so many extremes for consideration. Except one absolute thing, and that's the 30 knot speed, which is the determining factor to improve its overall effectiveness. It allows you to be in places before anyone else, outrunning torpedoes, getting shells bouncing on your belt, outrunning more torpedoes, decisively kill the enemy, taking 2 birds with 1 stone, pulling carry games you never thought possible, and most importantly, getting around torpedoes.
It's a midnight tournament, going back to the start, reboot, battle to the end. Midnight tournament, moving into the light, no more losing sentiments, steering through the night.
This is how you be a fake British. You get gun feeder, grease the gears, basics of survivability, emergency repair, and finally adrenaline rush. Then you can get whatever you want. For the upgrades you take main armament, damage control, and main battery modification too. So you can change broadside quicker. You want flexibility over placebo accuracy. While it's probably too late to make Kongo statistically better, you can at least see what it's capable of, without having to bring the Russian version to justify its weaknesses. Making yourself intimidating is how you make it work. It gets even better if you bring a Kongo division to decimate a flank. There is nothing more satisfying than asserting dominance against a slow, technologically inferior American dreadnought. Now go out there and turn spaghetti boats into Chinese takeaways. This is tier 5 after all. Full of players that aren't stupid, but just didn't think. Plus the occasional match where you get ships driven by retarded computers. Shows how much care went into low tier. If you're not interested on the Kongo, then it's probably not because it's a bad ship, but because you never find tier 5 interesting, which is completely fair. The game have conditioned everyone to keep looking up anyway, and making sure they keep spending money. You can now cry that they'll probably never touch Kongo any longer.
Shut